So you're running a new trucking business in Alberta. You are juggling a million things at once. I get it. But what if I told you that the single biggest threat to your entire company isn't actually out there on the road, but it's hiding somewhere in your office? Let's get into it.
So, what do you think it is? What is that one thing that can completely derail your operation? Something you might not even be thinking about right now. You know, is it crazy fuel costs? A sudden breakdown? Maybe a tough roadside inspection?
Well, the answer isn't on the highway. It's in your office. The biggest, most underestimated risk for a new carrier? It's sloppy record keeping. And today we're going to show you why this isn't just about paperwork. It's about the survival of your business.
To really understand what's at stake here, let's dive into 3 cautionary tales. These are real-world examples of what can go horribly wrong when your records just aren't in order.
Okay, first up is Alex. She was so focused on just getting jobs done and keeping clients happy that she let her vehicle maintenance records completely slide. I'm talking no written plan, no real tracking of when her trucks were serviced. She just figured, I'll get to it later. But later came with a really hefty price tag. Her business started hemorrhaging money from constant breakdowns and delays. But even worse, her trucks became a genuine danger on the road. The final straw? An inspector found one of her trucks driving with faulty brakes. That vehicle was immediately pulled from service. A potential tragedy was just barely avoided, and it all came down to missing paperwork.
All right, next is Ryan. He ran his business in a small town. You know, one of those places where everybody knows everybody. He really trusted his gut when he was hiring people and just didn't bother checking a new driver's abstract, their official driving record. He figured he was a pretty good judge of character.
That gut feeling led to an absolute catastrophe. A driver he hired was involved in a fatal accident while speeding, and his company is now facing a massive lawsuit. And the most heartbreaking part of all this, if Ryan had just taken a minute to pull that driver's abstract, he would have seen a crystal clear pattern of recent speeding violations. One missing record, with truly devastating consequences.
And finally, let's talk about Lee. See, he collected his driver's daily logbooks, which is great, but he rarely ever checked them thoroughly. He wasn't cross-referencing them with things like fuel receipts to make sure the timelines and locations actually made sense. He was basically just filing them away.
Well, this lack of oversight created total chaos. One of his drivers got pulled over and was found to be way over his legal driving hours, which put the truck out of service right there on the spot. Lee had to pay another driver just to go retrieve the stranded vehicle. Then an audit revealed a driver who claimed on her logbook she was in Alberta got a speeding ticket in Saskatchewan on the very same day. The fines for all these violations were absolutely crippling.
Okay, these stories they're alarming for sure, but they all point to a really powerful solution. It's time to stop thinking of record keeping as this annoying chore and start seeing it for what it truly is, your company's absolute best line of defense. Let's see how it can build a stronger and way safer business.
So what's the secret? It's actually incredibly simple. Good record keeping boils down to just 3 words: organized, complete, and up to date. That's it. Let's just call it the OCU rule. It doesn't matter if your records are on paper or digital, they have to follow the OCU rule. And this isn't just a suggestion. It is the very foundation of a compliant and protected business.
And this slide right here shows you how this directly solves the problems we just talked about. I mean, think about it. If Ryan had kept proper driver records, he would have known his driver wasn't qualified. If Lee had maintained hours of service records, he'd have known his drivers were dangerously fatigued. And if Alex had kept vehicle records, she would have known her truck's brakes needed fixing. It's a straight line from paperwork to safety.
Okay, so we know the why. Now let's get into the how. Building a solid system is really all about understanding the journey a record takes, from the road all the way to your office files.
This table basically shows you that journey. So, take a traffic ticket. The driver gets it, right? But it's your job to get a copy, file it, and keep it for 4 years. Or look at daily logs. The driver has 20 days to get them to you, and then you have to keep them for 6 months. See? Each record has a clear path and a required timeline. And here's a really crucial point. It does not matter where in the world your trucks are driving. All your transportation-related records have to be kept right at your main place of business in Alberta. That is a non-negotiable part of the regulation.
And remember, these records have a lot of sensitive information. So whether you're using paper or digital, security is absolutely key. A locked filing cabinet for your paper files and strong passwords for digital records are essential. They're not optional.
If there is one number you take away from all this today, make it this one: 6 months.
That is the minimum time you are required by law to keep a driver's daily logs. It's a simple rule, but as we saw with Lee, ignoring it can lead to some major fines.
So, here's the bottom line. We need to shift our thinking here. Proper record keeping isn't just about trying to avoid fines. It's about building a real culture of safety. It's the data that tells you if your company is safe, if your drivers are actually fit for duty, and if your trucks are roadworthy. It is a proactive strategy, not a reactive chore.
And that leaves us with one final question for you. Right now, I want you to take a hard look at your filing cabinet or your computer files. Are they a ticking time bomb of missing information and potential liability? Or are they the shield that will be your best defense when you need it most? The choice is yours.